Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Whoop. What's up, everybody? Hopefully everything is good with you. Welcome to another episode of the Lion's Den with Seth. I'm your host. Listen, y'all, if this is your first time tuning on in, what we focus on is leadership, growth, and development with a call to action from the household out in the community. And we do that by way of listening to you, talking about the things that we've been through and holding ourselves accountable. And that's what we're here to do, right, today. So, like I said, my name is Seth, and normally my co-host Herm is here, but he's out handling business and, you know, with his family and everything. They're traveling, and so he's out doing that. But Herm and I have been out the military almost for 5 years, y'all, going on 5 years, okay, retired. And it is a trip. It's a crazy hell of a transition, right? For example, you do something for X amount of years, right? We were both in for about 21 years, a little over 21 years. And the weirdest things kind of throws you off. Like, for example, one of the craziest things that I had to wrap my mind around was, what was I going to wear tomorrow? Because I kind of knew what I was going to wear. It was just wow. But outside of that, there was this feeling of service. Okay, feeling of service, leading, right, taking care of people, and just being the best that you could be, even in the Air Force, right? No matter what, but you are serving something larger than yourself and a part of something larger than yourself, right? And then what happens? It's over. Okay, meaning what you were doing as far as the uniform may come off, right? Because that's the inevitable. But the thing is, friends, how do you continue to serve, right? Because the things that you have went through or that you go through, no matter what, if you served in the military or not, what do you take away with you, okay, by continuing to serve? Even after the military, after that first job, after that first relationship, after you, right? How do you continue to move on? So, but today, y'all, this is going to be a super dope show. It's a special one because today I'm joined by none other than the man, the myth. He doesn't want to be called the legend, okay? But Castile, okay? Dr. Castile, look, he's a true powerhouse, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Real talk, right? In leadership with over 30 years of his experience in the military, United States Air Force. And again, y'all, he's not just a leader, he's a mentor who's guided countless individuals through the Air Force as far as their struggles and their aspirations and everything, and helping them to break past different limits and refining what's possible. But y'all, we're going to be getting in today as far as how is he still doing that, right? And how did he overcome certain challenges, or let's say even inferiority syndrome or complexes, and dealing with gatekeepers. Y'all, listen, they're out there, and you know what? They look like friends. You get what I mean? They look like individuals that you have every reason to believe that, you know, that they have your back. And that's not the truth. But nevertheless, whether you're climbing the ranks in your career or, you know, looking for ways to empower your team and turn obstacles into opportunities. Look, this conversation here is going to really open up your mind if you let it. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, y'all give it up for the man, Mr. Castile, in the building. Doctor, Chief, Mr. I don't know, Pastor. What else is it, brother?
I don't know, man.
How you
Human
doing?
being, alien. I don't know.
Hey, no, that's right. How you feeling, brother? Welcome,
Man, thanks for having me, brother. And man, I wanna start off by thanking you for the opportunity to be on the show. And I know at least through my career, there were countless times where we spoke and there were opportunities, but never could align schedules. But now you made it happen, brother. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to talk with you, man, and break some bread together.
No doubt, man. Look, it's an honor. And you know what, man, look, things happen, you know, life happens, but I mean, it's our responsibility to stay on it, you know, the way that we know that we do, because it's not about us. It's about how we can help to share this information. And then also remember, letting people know that we're human and, but life, even though life be life, and we can still, you know, get it in. So man, look, first, let's talk about this. Like, what really inspired you to pursue this long of a military career? And if you have you ever doubted that, yo, this really wasn't, this may or may not be for me? You know what I mean? After this long, or while you were going through, what was it about that?
Man, for me, I played basketball coming up. I'm a guy that grew up in the Boys and Girls Club, and so when the opportunity, graduation came, and I'm looking around my environment, there was really no other option. There were some opportunities with schooling, and I kind of talked on this in different forums, but honestly, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me because I felt that things was not set up for me to succeed if I were to go to college right after high school. Man, I remember, man, when people graduate, especially when I'm watching kids graduate now, we're giving them gift cards and $50, $20, whatever it is, right? And I remember sitting on my bed on graduation day and, looking at one envelope that had like $20 in it, man. Like, I think that fortified my decision. Like I need to join the military. And long story short, that was the Army kind of discussion, then the Air Force, and the Air Force was it. I said I was going to do 4 years, and then I'm looking to still play ball. I was serious about getting an opportunity, going to college and playing ball.
Mhm.
And I remember when that time came to re-enlist, and I'm looking at myself, man. I got no schooling. I got at the time 2 kids, and I'm like, man, re-enlistment. I need the Air Force,
Right.
and so. I think that was a point though where I felt that it was, even if I do 6 more or if I do 4 more, I was going to leave. And every time re-enlistment came, I was not set up for success. And this is one thing I tell young folks when they come to me now about, man, I'm thinking about. I'm like, look, shoot for the moon, man. Like go do what you aspire to be, but at least set yourself up. And I didn't do that. I was playing ball. We were traveling. We were doing everything but setting ourselves up for what that would look like in 10 years, 12 years, 20 years. And so every enlistment was one that it was a scary feeling. I was not ready to get out. I couldn't get out because I didn't set myself up. But then, life did some great things around the 12-year mark, 15-year mark, where I started kind of having some options. But ultimately, the Air Force is in my heart then. And, and once the Air Force is in my heart, man, I felt like get to 20.
Mhm.
And then get to 20,
Mhm.
it was opportunities would come at certain points where it was like, you know what, it's time to go. Oh, hey, go to the Pentagon. Hey, go to basic military training. Hey, go do this special position. And I was challenged and I took those opportunities. But never thought I would do 28 and a half years, man. But God definitely ordained those steps, man, and ordered those steps for me to be where I was at.
No, that's outstanding. Now, you originally from where?
Lafayette, Louisiana, home of the world's largest crawfish bowl. Just remember that.
Man, so okay, so being from there, how imperative was it for you to wrap your mind around working with diverse individuals for so
Oh
long?
man,
No matter, like, and think about this, right? Because every time we come to a new space, we're bringing old thought processes, right?
yeah.
Old paradigms. So how did that shape your way of viewing individuals in the military, specifically as you're uh, uh, going towards a mission, right? Or having to
Yeah.
accomplish a mission or some type of task.
Yeah, man. Great question, man. I grew up in a town in Lafayette called Fightingville. I don't know why they call it Fightingville, but it was called Fightingville. But it was, kind of the rough areas of Lafayette. And it was definitely not diverse. But one thing that they did do with our school districts was we were kind of pushed out. And so we didn't, it wasn't an all black school. So I went to Lafayette High School, which was I would say 50-50, grew up white, with whites and some Asians, but for the most part it was diverse. And so in my everyday surroundings, it was not diverse. growing up. But when I went to school, it was very diverse, and I thought I appreciated that. But internally to my family and the way I was raised, there was a lack of, I would say, lack of diversity, but also that old thinking, because we're in the South.
That's right.
And my parents grew up a certain way, my grandparents grew up a certain way, and even kind of hanging with other people was looked down upon in some ways, because I hate to say this, but but you kind of talk on it like everybody else is the enemy, and we're and we got to stick with our own. But going to Lafayette High School was something that was, I would say, that was amazing for me, because I understood diversity. I understood, especially playing basketball, I understood that in so many ways there's really no color. And in so many ways there's color, but there's no color when it comes to the human race, right? And we all people, we all bleed the same. And when I joined the Air Force, it was very diverse. And I would say just my understanding of basketball, my understanding of what right is supposed to be, especially when I talk about my upbringing in Boys and Girls Club. I really felt that they taught us some key principles that would transcend in life, that would give us an opportunity in life. And one of those was being open to other cultures. And so when I joined the Air Force, there was some growing up to do. But then again, I'm with folks who grabbed me early on, who told me, what this business is like, and if I don't do the right business, do the business the right way, I won't be in there too long. And so I would say that's probably one of the key areas there, was just my upbringing in Boys and Girls Club, but also understand that diversity is important.
No, I appreciate that. And it makes a lot of sense, especially when individuals are coming from all walks of life. So how about this though? As you've learned though, that nuance of knowing that this is a business, right? How did you help people to feel that they were enough? Okay, even though they may have felt as though that they wasn't, coming from their own backgrounds. Like how do you explain, or how did you explain to individuals your trials and tribulations of transitioning in the military?
Yeah, so I would fast forward 15 years in, where I'm really taking this mentorship serious, right? So now, had an opportunity to go teach at the NCO Academy, professional military education, and then going back to the career field. So I really took that serious, right? And knowing that people are going to look up to me for answers, people are going to look up to me because they see that that I may have a little bit more wisdom because of that opportunity, or those opportunities I've had. And so one thing I would tell folks, especially sitting down, especially individuals who kind of look like me, who would use their background or where they're from, the reasons why they couldn't progress. And I would say, look, if I can make it from Lafayette, Louisiana, if one of my best friends who made it from, inner city Detroit, and Atlanta, if they can make it, in the upbringings that they've been through, then why can't you? I always use the statement, why can't you?
That's right.
I mean, you're just as talented. They saw something in you to come into this force. So why can't you? And I think a lot of times is people count themselves out automatically, right? They look at their circumstances, they look at where they come from, they look at the fight, the struggles, everything that they had to gnaw through just to get to where they're at. And so they continue being in surviving mode. And I tell folks, man, just put the knives down, man. Like put the guard down. Like nobody trying to kill you, well, except the bad guys that's somewhere else, right? But nobody trying to kill you, man. And most people want you to succeed.
That's right.
And that would be my mentorship to them, man, especially as I start to grow through the ranks.
No, that's beautiful. And you know what, man, I appreciate you saying that, because it's a lot of times our biggest roadblock is ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we sometimes can be our biggest hater because we're listening to the inferiority complex, or the fact that we feel as though, am I really good enough? So before we go into that, right, a little deeper than that, tell the world what you're doing right now, man. As you already transitioned out, you got your gray fox going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm about to die this thing up, man.
No, don't do it. Embrace it, brother. Embrace it. So what you got going
man,
on?
So man, we decided that, God and this Air Force, where I served for 28 and a half years, has kind of set me on the path with knowledge, with wisdom and the networks, right, to be able to go and do something on our own. And so decided to start a company. Company's called C2H, Connecting Heads to Hearts. It's a business solutions company, man. And honestly, I'm sitting amongst friends one day, and I remember one of my friends, was saying that that him conversation with his family, with his wife, and then they gave him 2 years. And me and my wife sat down, we started talking, and she was like, well, that makes sense to me. 2 years seemed like a good number, right? And I was like, yeah, it does. And so one of the things that we told ourselves was, we're gonna give this a shot, man. And so I went all in on this company, man, putting my own money down, and just investing. And I tell you, man, it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. One of the hardest decisions I've made in my life, but one of the best decisions. Because when you transition out of that career, you're going on job interviews, you're trying to find the right match, the right fit. And the truth is, that was always a burning feeling in my heart that I wanted to do this. And every time I look at the job that was offering a dollar amount, and I'm like, man, look where I'm from, and I can't pass that up.
That's right.
But then I also had that feeling that if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it. I'm going to regret it. And my wife and I, we put ourselves in a position where, where if I want to try something, let's try it now. Right. But that was that fear. That go to a company, learn the business and go. And I felt I'm not a half-in guy.
Right.
If I go all in on this, I feel like I'm going to set myself up to succeed, and things are going to go well, or the best they can. And so one of the best decisions I've made, man, it'd be 1 year, 5 years in, really. We started the company back in 2020, but truly active in the company, putting everything into it 1 year now. So, and we still above water, so we didn't kill each other yet. And we have an amazing team that's with us. So that's what I'm doing now, man. All in to that.
That's nice. That's real nice. I mean, so what would you tell individuals that are inspired to do that thing, whatever that thing is, right? But so I guess this is where I'm coming from. The military, as you know, give us a sense of security. Okay. And it's real. Don't get me wrong. It is real. So it is security, meaning roof over your head, right? A first and 15, right? You can depend on that in certain niceties. But then as you're transitioning out and wanting to do your own thing, that burning desire, like what would you tell a person that have that feeling, but they're risk adverse to jumping out there? What would you say? Like, what would be your first step?
Yeah, one of my mentors at the time told me this, and I believe in this. He told me two things. He said, one, D chief. Different folks listening in, but D rank. I'm gonna just use that D rank, right? And what you did in your past life won't always be the foot in the door when you go to this next life, this next chapter, right? So D rank, I would say. And one of the biggest things, I think that the biggest things was that just because you love it, just because the passion, it doesn't always make you money. And so if you want to start a business, and this is kind of talking that he gave me, if you want to start a business, you got to start a business, but are you going to have a hobby? And so that always resonated with me. And even the things I do now as I take on jobs is, do I have a hobby or do I have a business? And so I would tell folks, one, take the things, the foundations, the strengths, the capabilities you have to build, and prepare that for what you want to do and leverage that, but de-rank, right? Because that whatever you did before, it's not going to be the foundation of what you at next. And the next thing is just know this. You got to believe in what you do. And if it's a passion, treat it as a passion. But if you want to start a business, there are business rules to starting a business. There are principles and policies and compliances and everything else to start a business. Learn it. That's what I would tell folks.
You see, no, that's super dope, man. And it goes back into what we were talking about before, as far as the myth, and individuals want to be in business, but they don't understand what it truly takes, and again, they may equate their passion and say, yeah, I can do this for money. You could, but could you do it for sustainability? You have
Yeah.
to look at growth, right? You have to look at, all of the things, like you said, as far as compliance. And then as you kind of quantify those things,
Oh, yeah.
it may be just more of a hobby.
Yeah.
It just might be,
Yeah.
but there's some things to consider. No, that's well said,
Yeah.
man. That's well said.
One thing that shifted us in our year journey was at the second month mark. Really, we started dabbling in AI, and everybody think you can just create something from AI and that's it. But there's a lot of business rules, and you have to have policies in place. You have to have, it's quite a few things you got to do in order to, so we created a product, right, that we're going to be launching, full-blown launching in the next couple of weeks. And we were ready to launch. And then all of a sudden, Laura comes in and he's like, hey, do we have this in place? Do we have that in place? And I'm like, what's that? And so before we can even move, it's like, I got to learn all this stuff about AI. And then also that's courses, that's training, that's, so we had to go full blown into learning about AI. And I nowhere near a genius or a guru with it, but I tell you this much, we put a lot of energy and time into learning the philosophies and how it fits into leadership and then how to integrate it. And that was a different type of muscle rhythm there from what we were doing, right? And so had to learn that in Twitch, and kind of twitch and switch, kind of switch off. But yeah, even when you progress or you do something different, you got to prepare yourself for that next thing and then add those skill sets.
No, absolutely. And stay a learner.
Yeah.
You do have to be willing to learn. Like, and I appreciate what you said as far as de-ranking, right? Because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you feel as though you've already made it and there's nothing else, and you close that lid of learning, okay? And being able to learn something new, because in the military or Air Force, people forgot, especially if you were enlisted, you were airman first.
Yeah.
Okay, you were airmen as far as rank goes, and then with the the different experience, the training, the mentoring, the iron sharpening iron, right? And individuals in failing. Don't get me wrong, it's constant, it's ebbs and flows in that helps individuals. It helps to forge individuals into what they are in the military, but transitioning out, that doesn't change. Now, you still remember certain things, you can apply certain things, right? But it's starting a new thing. So what would you say about that, man, as far as transitioning out, but keeping the talent, skills, and abilities and transitioning those out with you? How have they helped you?
Oh, tremendously, man. One thing I would start off with and say this is that the most of the doors that I get into now is not because I was a chief in the Air Force. And then one person told me this just recently and said, the reason why you were invited was because of your handshake and your smile. I was like, whoa, I mean, and that means a lot, right? Your handshake, it was because of your handshake and your smile.
Soft skills.
It was someone you seemed inviting, right? They didn't know about the ranking, but that's what I try to use. But at the same time, the rank itself or the skills, they do transcend. And this is something I wrote on just recently. Man, the things that let me reverse this just slightly.
Okay.
I would love everyone, whether you're in a military, you're in a corporate job, go back, look at your annual evaluations. And there was a lot of great things written on you. There was a lot of good awards that you won that made you feel good at the time. Everything they wrote about you or you wrote about yourself is true. You are that good, point blank. But that imposter syndrome comes in because now we're switching to a new thing, and we don't think that matters anymore. It does matter, and people try to forget that. Like think about all the things you've done in your career, man. Partner nations, doing this, and man, those are things that these companies are looking for on the outside. But we stop ourselves because the way we're thinking about, oh man, this is not that important. What you wrote and what they wrote about you matters, and you are that good.
That's right.
That's what I would tell folks. You are that good. So leverage that, but don't forget it. But also know that don't use that when you walk into the room. because what got you there, one of my mentors said, what got you there won't get you to the next thing, right?
That's
So
right.
you gotta level up,
Got to.
so yeah.
Oh man, no, that's awesome. No, that was good. That's real good. And I believe individuals forget that,
Yeah.
because as the environment change, they feel as though that they have to change, but they're the same them, but it's opportunities to learn and grow. So here you are now, you're doing your own thing. And I'm sure, as you stated earlier, there's individuals that's along the ride with you. Now,
Oh,
I'm also sure that there were individuals that you thought would be along the ride, as far as, if not along the ride, supportive or being open to sharing, information, if you will. So can you tell us a time when you faced gatekeepers or barriers that you felt as though was either keeping you moving forward, or just being just very just weird about information? And how did you manage that?
yeah, I can tell you something just that happened recently, man. So we just signed up with a contract, man, that we're going to be working overseas, man, doing some pretty cool things. But prior to that, probably a month and a half ago, I get a call from someone who has been working in that space. Don't know this person from a can of paint. Was like, hey, that's what we do. And usually when people come to this region or come do this type of work, they
Oh, they
they
check in.
they check in and give us a call. And the first thing I thought of was like, what's this, Sopranos?
Yeah, right.
But the guy was a cool. Matter of fact, we're having lunch. We're having lunch next week, and man, just a cool dude. But it was the way it came off, right? Like, hey, like, he didn't say you need to check in, but we kind of work in this space, and we don't want to be kind of bumping against each other. But also he taught me that I got to do my work too. I got to do my work, and that was a great lesson, because it's know who's in that space, because we could be sharing resources, we could be leveraging others' capabilities, because there are some things you learn that I could do that they don't do, but still. But this guy, this team is well known in that region, right? And so, and I had to understand that too. But a part of me is still like, man, hold up, man, this ain't like I pay 10% tax or something.
That's right. Some extortion. Yeah.
But I will say this, man, like, when I was in the military, man, I've watched some people, some great people, man, do some amazing things and create avenues and new spaces, and as folks, man, has been in the game for 10, 15 years, doing some of the things I'm doing. And I looked up to these folks, man. And, I'm like, man, I want to be just like them. I want to be just like them. But I also had to realize, like, these folks have put blood, sweat, and tears to where they're at. And that was a hard thing for me to truly grasp, man. I didn't really grasp that until maybe recently, right? But they have learned, and they have gone through the bare knuckles, man, and fighting through some things. And here it is, this guy coming out, and I'm asking for help, or they see me doing things right. I just expect that people are going to flock to me, going to be like, hey, man, here's where you go to SAMS.gov. This is how you set up your LLC. This is the things you have to do. And the truth is, that was very limited of that. And I just expected more, and my wife, she love my wife, man, but she really had to coach me through this, and not hold people accountable to that, because they did the work, right? And if I want help, I gotta go seek help.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing that I had to, and I hate to make this about me, but I have to make sure I say this right. As people look at you and they kind of watch you, and they probably saw my career, and people probably saw me doing some pretty cool things. People would say, he's going to be okay. And so when people think you're okay, they don't necessarily reach out, because they think you okay. And if I don't ask for help or say, hey, I need help, they're just going to assume I'm okay. But what I had to learn was, I need to stop walking into rooms that I have it all together. And I believe that my previous life taught me always walking with confidence, always walking with this sense of, that I'm well put together, right? And the truth is, even in my first year, we made a lot of mistakes. And whether I'm being coached, and I had some great mentors that that tagged along, and that we paid for, that came in as business consultants and so forth, getting us on the right track. But we still made mistakes with those business consultants, right? But my point is, man, is that it is not easy. But I had to check myself to say, stop walking into rooms like I have it together, because people are going to think that I have it together
Okay.
and don't need the help. And I hate to switch it like that, but
No, I get it.
yeah, but to answer your question, man, yeah, I expect a lot more from folks that are out there that's kind of in the business. But then again, I didn't get a lot of that. I didn't get a lot of that until I built up the confidence and I would say the fortitude to go out there and say, you know what, I need help. And as soon as I asked for help was there. But don't expect that friends, family, individuals who are in the business going to be knocking on their doors for you. And they run the business themselves.
All right.
So I want to make sure I articulate that right.
No, I get you. So now my question is to you, and even for individuals that's looking or listening right now and or looking, how do an individual walk as though they aren't who they are? What I mean by that is, I believe there's a difference in walking as though you got it all together,
Mhm.
or you're walking as though, hey, you're confident in your current talent, skills, and abilities. So in essence, you can't really control what a person perceive about you.
Yeah.
So is it that, are you saying come in more docile, or walk as though, hey, I don't really know it all, or just being honest, hey, this is what
Yeah.
I do know and this is what I don't know,
Yes.
versus projecting it? Like, how can you formulate that a little bit better to help individuals
Yeah.
to understand?
I'll give you two examples. Early on, people ask me, how you doing? And I'm like, oh man, we doing good, man. We getting indoors, man. We grinding, right? That was it. That was my answer. And I would say a more recent was yesterday. I'm at a networking event, and you hear this a lot in networking events. Is what can I help with? Right? They'll ask that question. What can I help with? Or where are you falling short? And in the past, I did not answer. I'm like, oh man, we're good, and kind of
Mhm.
hold things close. And now I'm like, here's where I need help.
That's
I need
right.
an engineer who knows this part of AI integration. I need, do you know someone that does staffing? Because this is an area where we're going to be doing this, and we need to have these particular credentials and so forth.
Understand.
And so when I walk into a room, I make sure I have that 30-second elevator speech on what we do. But when they ask the question, where can I fill the gaps or where can I help? I am now saying, this is where I'm falling short. This is where I need help. Where in the beginning, I didn't do that. I was walking in with confidence. Oh, we got it together. We're doing it. We're getting it. And the truth is, no, we not. This is something that I just wrote on recently, and something that we're going to be writing on in a more formal way, was my transition, right? People would come to my Facebook, they would come to my socials, and they see, oh man, this guy is doing, he's traveling, he's doing this, and life is good and everything else. And I told my wife, and and we had this conversation. She's like, why are you sharing? Why you feel the need to share it? I said, because if I'm allowing people to think that everything was all good, then they may feel that this is what's going to happen.
That's right.
The truth is, there is depression. There is these other things that you encounter as you go into transition. I said, and I have a platform, and I think it's the right thing to do, and it's honesty. Because if people think that what I'm doing is easy, or it was easy, then I'm lying to myself, but I'm also lying to people who respect me and who trust me to be candid and open.
That's
And
right.
so I'm sharing that because that's the importance. It goes back to your question. It goes back to your question. It's about being honest and open when people ask, "What do you need?"
Mhm.
This is what I need. This is the truth. This is where we're at.
That's right. And you know what? I'm glad that you said that, because individuals may feel as though, even me, sometimes you forget, like, yo, can use some help. But again, I believe it is also kind of like what you said. It's like, this is my baby. I don't,
Mhm.
this is my newborn baby. Get your stinky hands off of him. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You don't wash your hands. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
You protect it. You protect it.
Yeah,
And especially in a new business, you want to protect because you don't want nobody giving you that harsh feedback. And you know
that's the
what?
deal.
Mhm. Yeah. So I
And
had
see,
to realize that's my baby, but that baby is a business, and I need that harsh feedback.
that's right. And I think that's the difference too, as people are transitioning out and wanting their own business. There's a difference between constructive
Mhm.
feedback and criticism and destructive
Oh, yeah.
feedback and criticism. You get what I mean? And you
Oh, yeah.
really have to look at it, because the question is essentially that you're looking for when someone is talking to you, is this true?
Mhm.
Is this can I benefit from this?
Mhm.
Or is it just they're just saying this because of whatever, right? But I mean, I believe it's being able to have that level of emotional intelligence and self-reflection.
Yeah.
Why does
Spot
what
on.
this person say frustrates me to the point where I don't want to hear what they have to say? Maybe they're exposing some things that I need to hear.
Mhm.
Mm,
But I also had to use maybe discern is the right word. I want to maybe that's
okay.
I won't say is the right word, but I also had to take feedback and then kind of realize what feedback. And I hate saying this in this way because it involves elaboration, but it's the feedback, but it's also knowing how people are giving the feedback. And so, real quickly though, if I can share with you a product that we're producing. If I go to the 3-minute spill, which I need 3 minutes to really give you a strong spill of what we're launching,
Mhm.
and then I'm accept that. And to me, I'm open to the feedback. But if I tell someone, hey, that we're going to be creating this space shuttle, we're going to be doing this, and I give you 10 seconds of it, and you're already giving feedback, telling me, oh, but how you going to do that? You already. Then to me, I can't you didn't get enough information for me
That's
to
right. That's
give
right.
you to accept that feedback. And I hope it don't come off wrong that
No,
I'm
don't
not
worry
giving
about it.
feedback.
Look,
But a lot
yeah.
of times in this business, people want 30, they give you 30 seconds to discuss a $50 million problem, right? And you can't give me feedback if you only heard the punchline. That's I wouldn't even so I and that's that. So I had to discern like, should I be open to this feedback, or should I kind of walk that dog and just have just a normal discussion on some other things, because I really have to give them more for them to understand where we're at. And so I had to really watch how I articulate things and how much information I give in order for me to understand that feedback would be taken well, if you will.
I get you. At first, hey, look, you're absolutely right. And I really do believe that not everybody's feedback is for you. Sometimes
Mhm.
individuals are projecting, right? Hey, look, shout out to an old friend. What's up, Sat? She says, according to Adam Grant, think again. People tend to defend their position rather than take in new information.
Yeah,
What you
I
think
agree
about
with that.
that?
I agree with that 100%. Adam Grant, you can't dispute that one.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. So as you're talking through that, and we're talking about a little earlier about different insecurities, even as you're embarking on your in your own thing. How have you worked through self-doubt? All right.
um,
How have you worked through that while learning to grow as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I would say, man, it's my surroundings, man. The people on my team, they actually call Team Elevate. So we have the company, but they're Team Elevate, man. And the reason being is because when you look at my team and the capabilities that they are far better than me in so many different areas. And a lot of times, here's the humility, right? A lot of times when I'm talking to folks, it always seems when they're CEOs, they're the smartest person about their company, and they know it all, right? That's kind of what I get from when I speak to individuals that has been in the game for a very long time. Like they're CEOs, they understand it, but they also realize at some point that they need a team around them that can elevate, right? And so listening to one of my mentors who talked on this early on, I said, when I build this team, I want to start off with people who are way smarter than me in so many different areas, where as we launch, we continue to launch because there's new ideas and new things that's going to happen. And so first thing is surround myself with some pretty good people. And that's Team Elevate, because when I tell you the things that they think of day in, day out, got me on my toes, man. Like, and from thinking of it to 4 months later, we're in the process of doing the work and launching, right? And that's the type of people I surround myself by. I think that has been the most important thing. And then I would say another thing is, man, my wife, man, she speaks life into me. And 6 months into, man, something I just recently talked on, 6 months into this journey, man, like, self-doubt, depression, self-defeating behaviors, day drinking, man, things that I'm like, this ain't gonna work, and it's not gonna be good enough. And man, she continued to speak life into me when I doubted myself. I doubted the things that we were doing. I'm comparing myself to, people that's been in the game 10, 15 years. And she just pulled me back and said, stop it. You are good. But right now you're not believing in yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you don't believe in yourself, how you gonna lead a team of folks to believe in your vision?
Come on.
That stuck with me. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you, man, she speaks life into me every day. Just whether it's on the job or whether it's just about other things, man. Like, yeah, and I think that for me, man, has been the most amazing. People around you speaking life into you, and people who are better than you. And that's no sense of the word, man. Like they are good. They are great. And that's all I have to say about that.
That's beautiful. And it's important, as you're saying, it's important to have that circle of knives, you get what I mean, around you, and individuals that are sharp and sharper, and their talent, skills, and abilities are so multifaceted that as things come, and then here's the good part, you don't have to have all the answers. You're not meant to have all the answers, and I believe that that's a very good attribute to have as a leader. And so as you're doing this right now, what other attributes would you say individuals should embody or even consider as they're building their own teams?
Yeah. One of my old BMT chief said, man, he basic military training, he said failure should be in your equation every day. That's what he said. He said anytime something happened, he was like, man, that was part of the equation today, man. Like, I know something's gonna come in there, right? So I would say failure is part of the equation, because you're definitely going to fall. You're definitely going to hit a bump. There's a lot of uncertainties. I don't care if you read every self-help book out there, man. Everybody's journey is different. So be prepared. If you follow a 100-step manual, that on step 12, you might make a mistake. On step 50, you might make a mistake. So I think failure is one of them. Accept it, roll through it. Another thing, man, is loyalty, man. Surround yourself with people who are going to be loyal, who are going to be 10 toes down with you, man. In any business you do, whether anything you do in life, man, if you don't have people around you who are truly loyal to you, let me rephrase that, not necessarily loyal to you, but
I get what you mean.
Loyal to the cause.
Mm-hmm. And the vision.
Like the vision is about doing something with the knowledge and experience and the teachings that makes you want to apply. That's the premise of what we do, whether it's through AI, whether it's through leader development, whether it's through policy development. That's how we do it, right? That's our sauce. And so that's the vision. People got to believe in me of integrity. I'm doing things with character. That I'm doing things about, the right way. But I think the most important thing, man, is to be able to have people around you who are loyal to that vision, and who would tell you that vision sucks. So those are the two things: failure and loyalty. There's so many more, man, but I think that's important when you're starting off. because it's easy for you to have a whole bunch of cheerleaders around you, but when that money ain't coming in, them checks, taking 30 days to get to you, yeah, those folks are willing to kind of, understand, right? Like, yeah, we grind right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's important too.
No, man, I appreciate you saying that. It's it reminds me too about just even this platform and doing this now for like 6 years. And
Consistent.
yeah, man, and it's a trip. So I want to thank everybody that's always listening, and even the team. Like the team change, right? It changes, it grows, it goes in and out, and everything because life change and individuals' directions change. But I do want to give a special shout out to Herm. I'm gonna tell you what he does. Man, he has this. It's funny, right? It might sound like an oxymoron, but it's almost a radical delusion.
Okay.
Right? It's a
I saw you post up about that one time.
Yeah. I mean, for example, like he said, hey, look, oh yeah, I can be Mike Tyson right now. Right now. Listen, Herm has 0 professional boxing training. Okay. He feels as though because Mike Tyson is in his, I guess, OG elder stage, he can get him. Whatever. God bless him. And he thinks he can sing well. However, and I mean immaculately well. But when it comes down to this, the things that he says about the original vision, he can still see it, even in times when I don't anymore. You get what I mean? And I believe that it's so important, like you said, to have those individuals there. Not only that can do things that you can't, but can continue to pour in you and to remind you, hey, you remember why we're doing this, right? You remember why it's like, oh, damn, that's right. And almost to the point where it can be almost biblical, to the point where it's like, yo, when you have that doubt, and even like, who's praying for you? You get what I mean? As you're praying and pouring into everybody, it's like, man, I'm tired. Like, is this really happening still? Or why are we still going through this thing? It's part of the journey. So having individuals to really that you can lean on so they can push you back and so you can get recalibrated is so important. So important.
No, you brought up his name, man. So I tell you, I don't think I've ever met him in real life, man. I think we've had like online things like that, but I don't think we've ever met in real life. So I was looking forward to him being on call. I love you too. I love you, Seth. We have a personal relationship, but
right.
I'm like, okay, man, I feel cheated, man. That Herman not, he's not on here. but something that you said that really that struck me, man, was that vision, right? And sometimes you lose sight of the vision that you have, whether it be about business or even things you want to do with your life, man. And I just remember starting off in this business, and we got an opportunity to go to Africa and do some work. And I just, man, there's things about Africa, man, that you don't know until you on the ground, and you can see it, you can hear it, through TV and things like that. But when you're on the ground and you see, that there's no power, right? And you're in a country where they work off hydropower, and then there's been a drought for 2 years. And then here it is that they're having to do load shedding, which is basically power is only on for like a certain amount of hours a day, or a certain amount of hours every couple of days. But then you amongst those people, man, you're doing good work for these beautiful people. But they're living life like that. They don't even like that. That's part of life. Like, we're not going to have power. We're not going to have a refrigerator. We're not going to be able to wash clothes. We're not going to be able to do none of these things. But they're happy. And I realized, like, man, like, if seeing beautiful people like that go through that and understand that, man, the things that we complain about, the things that we worry about, at the end of the day, as long as we have our health, we have our family, we have a unit around us that are uplifting and pouring life into us, that's what matters every day. A belief system, right? And I learned, and when I picked up on that early on, I'm like, that's why we do what we do, man. It's about hope. It's about life. It's about pouring into people, man. And I just, and that stays with me. And that's the reason why we kind of change our business model. Like, we want to do work in areas where we wanted and needed and welcomed.
There you go.
And I thought that was more important. I wanted to make sure I captured that in the conversation.
No, that's dope. That's truly dope. And then it's part of your not just your vision, but mission statement.
Yeah.
Right. So what is your mission statement for your business? You got it down to the T?
You know what, man? I change it every day. I change it every day. But if I were to give just a quick couple of words, we're here to change lives, man.
There you go.
We're here to change lives. And I know some people might think of that and say, hey, well, you just go in there and teach a course on change management. Hey, you just push out an AI product that's helping people build this and that. Yeah, but is it changing your life? Is it making you better? Is it giving you opportunity to touch other people's lives? In a previous job, man, I used to go into places and there'll be 2,000 people, 3,000 people in an auditorium, right? And I'm teaching for 5 hours, a lesson on something. And I used to count the numbers in there, like, oh man, we got 1,000. We used to go in the group chat with the team. Oh, I had 500, and I would get these big numbers, right? And I'm like, but I had to ask myself, is people learning something? Are you taking it back? And I just remember looking at the feedbacks, and I would get all these feedback, great, boom, boom. And I always point to the one, right? That's like, hey, the slides weren't as professional as they needed to be for this, right? Or this should have been taken out because it doesn't fit into whatever. And I'm like, that mattered.
That's right.
Somebody was paying attention. And I realized it's not about the 3,000 that's in the room. It's about that one person who would take something back, who saw something, who was willing to be bold and courageous to say, hey, I need to be changed because that would add more to the presentation. And then when you look at our logo, man, there's a microphone in the logo. So a lot of people think it's a wolf, it's a nose, but it's not. It's actually a microphone.
Okay.
The microphone is, you have a voice. So whatever we do, you have a voice. And like your mic is right there. You got a voice. And so that voice is going to reach somebody's ears and change their life in some kind of way. So bottom line, that mission statement is about changing lives. However you want to intermingle it. Well,
no, I like that. And also too, when you think about it with the microphone, not only are you pushing information out, but you have to be willing to receive information as well, because you are only at the level that you profess to be if you're not able to put yourself in those individuals' position to say, hey, they see me in this light, if you will. What am I willing to receive to grow? Because they want it, they love it, and they see something that you don't. No, that's outstanding. That's outstanding. Yeah. Wow. And just being able to take that feedback is that says a lot. So kind of along the lines of that, how do you balance sticking with your core values with the pressure to quote unquote prove yourself, especially when others may not immediately welcome those ideas, those new ideas?
Man, this one's gonna be quick, man. I have put on blinders and some serious filters when it comes to the outside noise. Our vision, our mission, is no longer something that's written on paper. This is the truth, right? It's in us, right? It's in us, and let's just say it's in me. And so when I walk out, and as I build this, man, it's about being the best, one of the best in the world, not the best in the world. It's about being one of the best in the world in what we do. And it's going to take quite a few years to get to be the best. And so when you're aiming for greatness, you're aiming for the stars, you're aiming for the next galaxy, you can't allow the noise to discourage you and to bring you down. What I'm willing to do is listen, make those adjustments, or even abandon some things because it's just not working. But what I'm not going to do is get discouraged by people who don't see my vision or don't see that there's a lot of work that's going into what we're doing. And what I've encountered over the last, I would say probably 4 months is individuals who are now starting to see the vision. And as doors are being opened, they're like, oh, I was wrong. I had a business guy yesterday said, hey man, I was wrong about what I said a few months ago. And it's because if you go to our site and you see the things we're doing, we're in basketball, we're in policy development, we're doing quite a few things. And it's there by design, because the vision, the plan is that there's going to be so much things that gonna define what we do, right? But it's going to be it's the visions for a reason. There's a plan for it, right? And when this person was able to see the numbers and see the things that we're doing, they were like, it makes sense. It makes sense. I can see it now. And I thought that was one of the coolest things, because this guy's been in business for a very long time. I can't believe I'm even sitting at a table with this guy, the type of things that he's doing, the type of money he's making in this world. But he's willing to take some time and listen, or at least listen and share with me, So I thought that was pretty cool.
No, I think that's dope, man. And also, how do you respond now? Because a lot of individuals don't receive the information or the vindication.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I mean? Because some individuals may say whatever, and then that time pass, and then they start to see your vision, but they don't circle back around. You get what I mean? So now that he circled back around and said that, how did you receive it?
Yeah, I received it well. But one thing that
was it in your heart, like you want to say, "Look, I told you,"
No, I didn't want to say that, but I also know that I can't be so defensive, because I have to listen to this guy, right? He's giving, it was great advice, right? And things, what his experience has taught him, that you have to have a niche. You have to be able to be good at one thing, build it, boom, go. That's business 101, right? But at the same time, there are other things that, like I said, the 30-second elevator speech that, individuals want to listen to and then give feedback. And he only got 30 seconds. But then we sat down for 5 minutes. He was able to offer more based on more information.
I love it.
And so one thing I must say is that I am open to feedback. There's so much feedback I get, even after we do things out there in the world, man. I get so much feedback, and I look at it all. But I also go back to the point of there's a lot of noise, and what I tend to do every day and every morning is I ask God to order my steps and to allow me to be in rooms and positions where people are coming to me with good information, and I can act on that good information, and give me the heart, give me the wisdom to discern, what I hear. And then, but God within my life, man, I'll tell you that I would have failed by now. One thing that Jay-Z said, man, and I hate to talk about Jay-Z after I talk about God, but Jay-Z said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't, right?
That's right.
That's just a fact, right? And so at the end of the day, the data is going to tell you what's right, what's wrong. But God's going to put in your heart where your passion lies, and and give you the heart and the courage to wake up at 5:30 every morning to do that thing.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing I believe. If it's in your heart, it's in your soul, and you will wake up at 5:30 every morning to go after it, let me tell you something. There's no way you're going to lose.
No way.
And I don't know what that success is. Is it, you making $1 million, or is it you changing lives, right? Our business model is about changing lives. It's about changing organizations. And I get calls now like, oh man, would you be willing to do this? Would you be willing to do this for this amount, right? And I'm like, yeah. If that's all you have, yeah. Mm-hmm. They're like, man, we're sorry we can't pay you that. Yeah. I heard when I was watching a story about Rick Ross, and Rick Ross, he's talking about how, he have a certain price, 200,000, right, to go into place, do this. But if all they got is 75,000, guess Rick Ross say don't turn down no money. That's now, right. You may not get the full show, but but you're gonna get, I'm definitely not gonna turn down money, so, or I go to some places and they can't pay you a thing. They can just pay you travel.
That's right.
And so the next question I ask you is there going to be people in the room who need this? And what does your data tell you about the organization that tells us that we need to be in Houston at 8 o'clock in the morning working for free. And I have that conversation. And they tell me the things they're going through. And I said, man, I will happily go there, And oh, by the way, I got some points. I'm gonna use my points. I'll get there.
That's right.
But it's the model is just a little different, but it works. It works really well.
Now I like that. And you know what? I do believe that you're going to have that opportunity very soon to talk to have Herm on, because I really do think we should talk more about, the business sense and sense. You right? Because sometimes we do things and we have the passion and we want to do it, but is it beneficial to your business?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, going back to the whole passion versus business type thing. But no, thank you for that. So last question, man, and I'll let you go. I want to thank you too for being on and spending this time. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him up in the building. It took a minute, right? A couple of years. We got him here. We got it.
I remember us having this conversation. I was still in basic training, man, and I was in the gym. We were talking, and I gotta get you on the show. I done had assignments and I retired a whole year now. Bro, we finally made it happen.
Well, we in here, but that's all that matters. So looking forward, man, what type of advice would you give our listeners battling with, or not, but just battling with believing, right, in themselves or facing significant, just barriers, wanting to go forward? What would you tell them? What little word of advice would you give them?
Yeah, man. I can go so many ways with that question, man. I would say, what's the risk if you choose not to do it? You have that one thing that you've written down, some goal that you want to achieve, and that's been burning in your heart. Like, I believe in this. And I would ask you to ask yourself, what is the risk? Or what is the fallout if you don't do it? And we've all been in that situation where we said, man, what if I want to do this, but I didn't do it now? That's sitting on your heart for years. You know what? And you can't do it now because you no longer can jump 40 inches. You no longer have the rhythm, and you no longer have the good looks, whatever it is, right? But time is always going to be the winner. Always going to win. So what is the fallout? What is the risk? What is if you don't do it? And that's something that my wife has said to me early on. If you don't do it, what regrets you're going to have in 5 years? And if you don't do it, what is that going to do to our marriage? What is that going to do to our life? Because if I'm feeling of regret, I'm feeling of not being fulfilled, now that's going to bleed into other aspects of my life. And so some people have the ability just to compartmentalize it and be able to just forget about it or suppress it enough to where it doesn't bother them at all. But most human beings, that's going to sit on us for years. It's going to bother us until we grow old, And so I would just tell people, if you believe in something, go for it. There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you had that thought. Go after it. Because at the end of the day, all that's going to happen is you tried, you didn't get it, you didn't achieve it. But in that self-discovery, you're going to learn a whole bunch of good things about yourself. And if it's anything, there's going to be self-discovery in there. So no matter what, you're going to win. You're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh yeah. Oh man. Now that's it. You know what? Normally, either myself or Herm will give a final word. That's it. That's it, brother. Drop the mic. You get what I mean? That's it, man. I want to thank you, man. Thank you for these words. And again, please make sure you come back, man. We will schedule some time to do that. Yeah. And no, this was very, very good, man.
I do have official challenge though. Official challenge, man, because I'm an old school ball player and I know Herm out there, acting like he can play. I want to challenge him to a one-on-one.
Hold on.
I'm putting it out there. Since he didn't show up today, You know,
hold on, because I'm gonna tell you what we got with technology. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what we got with technology. See, there are some things that happens, and Herm, you know what? I think he needs this in his life.
Yeah,
I think he needs this.
Officially challenge him to a one-on-one.
Old school
versus old school.
Old school versus old school. Okay, hold on, 1 minute. Now look, this is live, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, he's not even expecting this, but it's all right. It's all right. Hey, y'all, I'm calling him right now. Okay, right now. Now, hopefully, can you hear the phone ring?
I can't.
Hello?
Hey, bro, what's up, man? You live on the Lions Den.
Well, what's happening?
Hey, check this out. I just want to let you know you have been officially challenged by the man, the myth, the legend on the basketball court, right?
Yeah,
Castiel. Hey, Keith, he said, look, man, he been here. Look, listen. He said he's been hearing you talk Cash Money. He ready.
I'm ready.
I'm gonna tell you like this. Can't nobody that made chief in the Air Force beat me in the battle. I mean,
you know what? I'm doing it for all Chiefs now. Now it's personal. Now
that was personal.
Hey, have the Chiefs group in the front row watching. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's gonna be televised.
It's not going to respectfully,
it's not gonna happen. Listen, hey, Herm, listen, I told him earlier, man, you my man, you everything, man, $1,000 grand, but you have this level of what was it? It was radical delusion. Radical delusion.
This level of truthfulness, what you looking for.
Is that what it is?
I have a trip. He in Tennessee, right?
Yeah, Tennessee.
Yeah,
I have a trip coming up there, and I'm gonna let you know when I'm gonna go out my way to stop there and whoop your derriere. I'm telling you right now.
Hey, Herm, guess what? Hey, Herm, he said derriere.
Yeah, that's
he coming.
I heard him. That's what a chief would say. You know what I mean?
Hey, man, look, we getting ready to wrap it on up, man. But look, catch it on the flip flop, man. Y'all be safe, okay?
Be safe.
I will, brother. All right, then.
All right, later. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's official. It's official. So that means now I got to travel down there because I want to make sure this is live for everybody to see.
You gotta capture this.
Got to. But look, man, again, man, I want to thank you for coming on, man, spending this time in this Sunday, man, here with us, man. Most definitely. Hey, so everybody that's listening right now, make sure you go and follow us and you subscribe. Make sure that you are a part of this conversation, y'all. This is what we do. And if there's any feedback, like he said, give it, no matter what it is, because these are the type of things that keeps us going and keeps us energized and it keeps us where we need to be for you. All right. But look, we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great rest of the weekend. Take care of yourself and each other. Right on. Later.